Hey guys, what is going on? So I have a whole bunch of updates for you guys. The first one is going to be just as I was recording this video, got some from FedEx, which is my new batch of turkey stones. So I won't be needing those anytime soon, obviously, but they are there. Got them within less than 2 days of ordering, so that was crazy. That's kind of the trend with Gorilla Mine, super fast shipping, and I've been experiencing terrible shipping from every other company out there, so that's really cool to see. Other than my first batch of Turkesterone got stuck in Memphis, and it's actually still there, but they were really quick on getting me, my original batch. So I actually did get my batch a little bit late. That's why I haven't been on it as long as some other people. But I want to say it was around December 1st. If you go back and look at my first video that I posted about it, that's going to be day one. But the reason I'm coming to you today for an update is because it's been 1 month since I've taken a body scan. So I have a naked body scanner. For those of you who don't know what it is, it basically does a 3D model of your body, kind of shows your body fat percentage. And, people are obviously going to be like, oh, this is not accurate, or, my scale that I got online is way better. I do not believe in those scales at all. I've used them from other people and they are ridiculously inaccurate. So if that's what you want to use, that's cool. I thought it was worth the money to have something that was like in home like this. I've been using it for a couple of years. I find it to be accurate, but this is the only thing that I really have to go off of. I do have access to an in-body scan at my gym, but gyms are closed. So I'm not going to use that, and I actually find this to be a little bit more effective. So I don't even know if I will get an in-body scan, but maybe that's something I will do towards the end of this. I don't really know, but for now, I am doing these naked body scans. So it has been a month. One thing I do want to mention, I did order Amazon Halo today. That has a method that helps you track your body fat percentage. I'm guessing that's wildly inaccurate, but I'm just going to get that just because I figured, I got the promotional discount or whatever else. I ended up getting it. So if that ends up having any cool data, I might show that, but that's another way to do it. And again, I may do an in-body scan, but basically I'm going to pop up my comparison from November 17th to December 16th. So it's actually been 29 days or whatever. But so basically, at the end, when I took my scan on the 17th, that was around the time that I ordered the Turkesterone in the first place. Like I said, it didn't arrive right away. So I've been on it for a little over 2 weeks, I think. And I took a scan because I wanted to have it clear before. And I take these scans about once a month anyway, so it was a pretty good time to do it. And I was coming off of a cut, guys. So when you look at these numbers, be aware that I was coming off of a cut. If you look at my weight here, 215, I'm usually probably more around 220 if I'm in maintenance, and that's kind of where I'm at now. So if you look, my body fat is up. Maybe that makes sense because I'm eating more. I'm not restricting my calories. I'm not trying to be in a surplus. I'm just trying to eat normally. And, if I do gain weight, that's cool if I gain muscle mass, but I'm not trying to put on a ton of fat because I just did a bunch of work to get rid of some fat over quarantine, so I don't really want to add any more. But if you look, fat mass is up. I don't know how accurate that is, but makes sense. My lean mass is up, and obviously coming off of a diet, a little bit of water weight there. Another thing I do want to mention is that I at one point switched strictly to creatine HCl, so I was always on creatine monohydrate, which obviously, there's some water retention aspect to that. I don't really notice that it affects me all that much, but it is something I do want to include. That being said, I do take Gorilla Mine products, and those do have creatine monohydrate in them, and therefore I don't know how much that matters, but that is something that I did. But I'm currently on HCl and monohydrate, so whatever. But anyway, if you look at this lean body mass, it is up a little bit. Now that is probably a rebound just from dieting and then going back to normal. My weight is up. And if you look here, probably the areas that I've gained the most, if you look, my waist and my stomach have gone up a little bit. So it does make sense that it would be some fat. And then also my my legs have added some size. And usually I add a decent amount of weight to, my legs as I get bigger. I'm one of those people who has a pretty favorable body fat distribution. I don't put a ton of weight in, bad areas. Like when you look at this waist stomach, it's probably more like my low back, which is where I tend to store fat, as opposed to like on my abs. Not that I don't have any fat there, it's just a limited amount. So those are those numbers. One thing I really did want to show here is this lean body mass. So basically this is an all-time high. If you look at this chart, this is over the last 12 months. So I'm not trying to bamboozle you guys. It's not like I, was down If you look at this very bottom number, it's actually like 182, I think. I think that's when I was like really trying to cut and lose weight because I was getting really fat from quarantine. But basically, this is pretty much an all-time high, maybe off by like a quarter of a pound from my highest lean body mass ever. So this is obviously water weight and everything else, but I've had periods before where I've gotten to this 190-ish level and I really cannot push past that. Like that's pretty much my max. I had a period where I was 242 pounds. I was squatting like crazy, eating a ton of food, drinking a ton of water, and I was still around 190. Maybe I was like 191. And that was more than a year ago. And so basically I would consider 190 being like my maximum lean body mass. I've never been able to surpass that. I feel like, not that that's like my genetic limit or anything, because I do feel like I do have more potential, but that, I'm approaching it, I think. And I think that's around the level where it's getting to the point where gains are not easy anymore. And I've been stagnating, around a similar level for quite some time. So it's not like I'm some newbie. I've been lifting for quite a long time on and off, but 190 is kind of that maximum level. So I think that's going to be a really good indicator if I can push past this. So obviously I did gain some water weight. In terms of like my progress in strength and muscle and stuff like that, I do feel like I am gaining some muscle, but that's it could be such an illusion. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to say, oh, I'm clearly gaining muscle. I want to go off these types of scans. I want to potentially go off strength numbers. Although, as I've been saying, my focus is building muscle, not strength. And I've noticed when I do build muscle, my strength goes down a little bit. So like, for example, I think prior to quarantine, I could bench 355. During quarantine, I tried to put on a lot of muscle. I was kind of focusing on, eating a lot of food and all that. And I actually dropped about 20 pounds on my bench. And then once I got back to the gym, once I started focusing on strength for literally like 1 month, my bench got back to 355 and it just got there really quickly. And in fact, my 355 after quarantine was a little bit easier than my 355 before. I couldn't do 365. I did try it. So I'm not saying I increased my max, but I definitely didn't lose strength. But in the process of gaining muscle, I did temporarily lose strength. So I have been actually doing some strength work here recently, trying to go a little bit heavier. And the max that I can do right now with 295, because I'm just kind of doing rep PRs, is only 6 reps. So my strength is down again. So I think if I were to actually get any type of PR, in terms of some type of rep PR, I don't have enough weight here at home to actually be able to hit like a 1 rep max. But if I'm able to go up in my strength while I'm focusing on muscle gain, I think that'll be a huge sign that the turkesterone is working. And my max, I've been able to do 315 for a set of 5. Actually, I've been able to do it for a 3x5. So I'm actually pretty far off. I've actually dropped, those numbers pretty significantly. The fact that I can only do 6 reps with 295. So my strength is down. Again, if I do get those strength numbers back up without specifically focusing on it, I think that'll be a great sign of like, hey, this turkesterone is working. Or if I can get significantly above 190, because that's kind of been my ceiling for the last year and a half. And obviously my ceiling was lower prior to that. If I can get significantly above 190, I think that's a good sign as well. So those are some things that I wanted to share in terms of my body scans. Now, updates on, the gym situation. There's an announcement today. It hasn't officially happened, but there's, word about what's going to happen in my state. And basically gyms are going to be, I think, 25% capacity, and social distancing is going to be 12 feet. So I don't know how that's going to work functionally, but that should end. I think Friday is the last day. So I'm going to try and go to the gym, see what can happen. Like I said, I don't have all the weights necessary to be able to actually lift as heavy as I can. So I have been squatting, but just not, I haven't been able to go, as heavy as I potentially could. And same thing with the bench. Even like if I wanted to do a max, I couldn't because I don't have enough to do a max. Maybe at my current strength levels, but not at my all-time strength levels. So I'll try and get back in the gym. I will update you guys on that. But as of right now, I will probably just be continuing to work out at home a little bit and see what happens in terms of being able to work out effectively at gyms, because they should technically be open at 25% capacity starting here soon. I'll see what happens there. But yeah, I think that's all the updates that I have. So I talked about getting Turkesterone, the new one. Talked about my, you know, my body index and everything like that. I talked about my strength numbers. I think that's all the updates. If I'm forgetting something, let me know. But yeah, my weight is up. My lean mass is at an all-time high. So it's basically purely gains from here. In terms of like what I've noticed in terms of muscle, like I said, I can't really quantify it. I maybe have built a little bit of muscle, but I haven't noticed anything in terms of strength. The appetite suppression thing that I talked about before does still seem to be in effect. I honestly have not had the appetite recently. I've kind of been forcing myself to eat the normal food that I was prior to this, but yeah, you know, everything is kind of how it has been going. But if I do see any progress, if there's any updates on the gym, I would love to actually film workouts. It would be a nightmare trying to film something in this basement. But other than that, if I can like get in the gym and actually film, I do have, you know, multiple cameras that I could use. Or I got some buddies that work out at the same gym as me. I could potentially do something like that. So that would be cool. If gyms open, if they don't, I'll just continue to stay here. And I will keep you guys updated on the progress in terms of strength numbers, but more specifically what I'm focusing on is muscle gain. So if that can happen, I will let you guys know. Otherwise, I'll update you on the gym. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I will keep you updated, and I'll talk to you soon.